Social media training takes many different forms, and it depends on both the recipient, the one actually in training, and those teaching. So this video was created because I've just been assigned a new task by one of my clients, and that is to train one of their current employees. They're making use of someone that they currently have employed, a customer service person, to upskill with the social media requirements, which makes sense. There's a nice crossover there for certain elements, specifically for customer service and the product knowledge. So that's a great sort of transfer. There are a few things that sort of stand out, and we'll cover that in a little bit. But I thought, if I'm given this task to train a member of staff how to get up to speed with social media for the different platforms that they cover, I thought I would look into the online courses available on like Udemy, FutureLearn, etc., to have a look at their syllabus or their content plan, just to understand the course sort of structure and how I might be able to still a few of the concepts and the ideas of how they teach someone to then apply it to me teaching this member of staff. But I had a little look. Unfortunately, the majority of them take for granted a lot of concepts, goals and KPIs that are really sort of critical for the early development of participating and really owning a business social media presence. They seem to jump sort of straight in onto content creation and that of creating content or advertising, which is a huge leap from, say, a beginner that has little to no experience, or even a consumer. Moving from consumer to business social media marketing is quite a different sort of skill set that's needed. A consumer goes on and they engage and they enjoy things, they scroll through and they leave a comment possibly, or they like. But most consumers, unless depending on the brand and the context of the situation, are exactly that, they consume. So when we sort of talk about and look at engagement metrics from a business perspective, we are looking at those that are engaged, which are very few compared to those that lurk and keep on scrolling through the different content. And we have to be aware of that. That's quite a leap from a user, which is a consumer, to a beginner as they progress into the journey of actually doing social media marketing. So it's not really a journey I've found with a lot of these courses. It's more of a giant leap. And although some of them cover like the basics of creating the pages for Facebook and accounts on different sort of platforms, a lot of them either try to cover too much, and therefore as a result have very little to share in depth on the topics. So they really haven't been that helpful in outlining a procedure to move forward with teaching this member of staff. The other thing that we have to consider when looking at this training is I've trained people in the past, and that has been quite different to what I'm doing now. Because I'm running this agency, a lot of my work is remote, as opposed to what I've done in the past, which has been, hands-on training. If the person I've been training has, come across a problem or an issue, or they haven't understood a task, they can just approach me, because I'd be there present in the office as well. So a lot of the teaching that was often occur now with the person that I'm teaching will be via video, as well as a few phone calls. So I was thinking how I could sort of plan out this content in a way that I could share this in advance and they could pick it up at their own sort of, their own speed. That's fitting for them. But then I have to also, take into account the client constraints. So the things that I need to be aware of when considering training are things like the resources available. So the resources available in this come down to, the person's knowledge, the time allocated, which is 8 hours per week, which is not a lot of time for doing social media, less so for a organisation that can only commit someone that doesn't have the skills required to really sort of get the ball moving. The skills available and the number of platforms the brand is on. So the brand in question has a Pinterest account, a LinkedIn account, a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and a Facebook account. Now, any of you that know social media, that is a lot of content to be creating for, as well as being engaged on. So I've been working on like an outline based on how I think is probably more beneficial for them to learn, as opposed to the quite sort of weak content that's been sort of documented with the training available in the courses online. So I would probably take a less linear approach, even though some of them aren't completely linear, and work in a way that is probably more beneficial to give the context and then the concepts in each chapter. So I'm putting together the outline, something along the lines of, understanding the difference between consumer use and business social media marketing. That would be a great place to start. And then we move on to like the goals. Now there's different goals for social media. They could be broken down by platform, sales, and brand. Like they're the key sort of areas that you want to be sort of considering when you're creating social media content and engagement. And then from there you sort of have maybe a chapter outlining a specific area of a platform, the tools required, the type of content that performs well, the metrics for a post and how that ties into the goals for the platform, and which type of goal those metrics would support, and then the concepts for each of the metrics, how they're measured, just general marketing, digital marketing terms, and I think that would probably be quite a nice roundup of what's required to really sort of get started with social media marketing. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'm going to probably continue working on the outline this week, and then the other thing that I need to be aware of is I'm probably going to be looking at maybe like half an hour a week in terms of creating video content for the training. So I need to capture the concepts, the KPIs, the goals, each of the video sort of content within 30 minutes or less, or several videos within that time frame. So yeah, it's a nice little project, and the videos that I've created so far have gone down really well. They've found that the video is much more easier to digest than, say, written content, which to to someone that knows what they're doing and has the skills in place. A quick email, maybe outlining a campaign or whatnot, or some content requests, would be more than enough, would be, sufficient. But in this case, that's not the case. So what I'm thinking is, once I've got this course outlined and recorded, then I would probably share that with future social media teams that I need to train. So yeah.